So mine was about mostly visualization. Can you hear me?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. David Nair from Down Under on 10 News. Currently, we are in the process of making sure some of the key elements as required for individuals to specialize on special skill sets is what we're focusing on. And today I have a guest speaker that has gone through this process. Each one of you who are out there as speakers, please take note of what our guest speaker has to say about this particular event, behind the scenes of being a speaker. We have Dr. Alka Chadha, who is the secretary for PSI, has been invited on board recently to speak at the PSI Summit. And the journey that Alka had gone through to get to that stage is what I'm trying to ensure we can share with you out there in the public. And at the same time, some of the intricacies of what she did to ensure her speech was at the peak performance level of excellence, not perfection. So without much ado, let me just invite you to listen to what Alka has to share with you, and I'm going to intervene with different questions as we go through it. Welcome, Alka.
Thank you, David. I'm so grateful. Thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here with
Thank
you on
you.
this platform and sharing my thoughts with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Alka, let me just kickstart. What got you thinking about speaking as a practice or as a performance?
So, David, as a child also, I've always been a chatterbox. I've always been talking a lot. And there was a time my mom used to say, try to be quiet. And my dad used to always tell me that listen more to people. When you talk more, you show people that you are a fool. When you're quiet, they think you're a fool. But when you start talking, you show them that you're a fool. So this is always keep me at bay. And I love the stage and I love giving my message to the world. And it's always been my dream that today, after 30 years of my practice, I want to tell something to some people that to be happy. And if you are a happy person from within yourself, if you have this hormones coming from you, and you will be healthier a person. That's my message to the world, and for which I've been dying to go on stage to tell this, and I got this opportunity over here to go. And there was a selection process, of course, and they selected me, and we had auditions. So that's all right. I'm never scared of competition, and we went through it, and we can. It's good for us, David. We keep polishing ourselves. We keep learning. As we get rejected, we keep learning. So that's
Sure. Alka, I really want now to sort of, because of the time factor, I want to get into intricacies. I understand we have got so much to cover in this 1 hour, but can we just deep dive into when you decided that you want to be a speaker and when they selected you into the interview process, you then had a timeline to prepare certain things. Can you
Yeah.
just run through specifically item by item? We'll come through and discuss each one of those as we go through. What was your key background thought
Yeah.
in preparing?
So, we already have a message in our mind that we want to give to the world. So that's not crystallized. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But there is a message in my heart which I want to share with the world. So as that thing happens, I share it with everybody in my house. I share it with David. I share it with my seniors in PSA. I share it with so many people. And I keep adding and adding and adding to it, and how I can make it more lively, and how I can go on the stage, and how I can give all the elements of a good performance in this particular talk. So it started just like that, just like a small thought, a little thought that, okay, yeah, I want to tell everybody that you just spark yourself from inside. You should be happy from inside. You should be having enough fulfillment from inside Productivity is good, productivity is great, but productivity can be enhanced if you are really a very happy and very fulfilled person from inside. So it just went on. People came on helping me, like the universe is there. He was my friend, and everyone along the way helped me and contributed to my speaking journey. And here's where I am. So I'm very grateful
Good.
to everyone. Yeah.
Very good. What let's go into the subject of the topic, and how did you steer yourself through once you have been assigned the topic, and what did you do from then on, just on the preparation of the content of the topic?
So, David, what happens is that 24 by 7, that thing is running in your mind. Whether you're walking, you're talking, you're having a shower, you're eating your food, that thing is running in your mind that how I can improvise this, how I can make it into a 15-minute talk. And then every day I kept adding something or the other, subtracting, something like this, adding. And then it became something little bit more beautiful, and yet I wasn't satisfied. Then I used to tell my children to listen to me, and my children got fed up of listening to me. I used to tell them the same story. But then I got hold of many of my friends in PSI, also outside. And David has been my very good friend all the time, listening to me so many times. And it's boring. I tell you, David, it's boring to listen to a person again and again, the same story again and again. But I saw that you had the patience in you and you really wanted to help me. And I'm really grateful for that, because a lots of things happen during the making of my speech with you, and the way to dress and how we go on the stage and all of that happened with all of you, my friends, and I'm so grateful to all of you.
A deep dive on the content first. We'll come to the dress and all that later. Deep dive on the content. Now, you've crafted a message. You've practiced that. You've practiced it multiple times. I want you to be very honest. How many times did you change that message?
Many times I was not satisfied, many times, but last 1 week I remember when I was sharing it with you, you said, haven't your parents told you go and relax and enjoy yourself? 1 week in before my actual speech, I stopped changing. But before that, I was actually, polishing and changing and practicing and changing. I don't remember how many times I practiced. Till the time I felt that I was good enough, I kept on doing, I kept on doing. And it was not difficult. It was in my mind. The difficult part was about recording my own speech. So I was recording, I was re-recording, and I was deleting. And today I find that my computer, my laptop, and my phone is filled with so many of those speeches. And I'm trying to make space, from those speeches. So I used to also hear my speech without the video. I used to, watch the video without the sound and see my gestures. And I also practiced it on a stage. Like in my clinic, I have a room where we do public education programs. So I have to take my clicker and my slides over there, and I have to practice it on the stage to see the platform mechanics, whether I can go left, I should go right. So all of these things, I really enjoyed doing all of these practice sessions with myself and with the people around me.
That's great. That's great, Alka. See, a lot of people take these small things for granted, and that's why I'm doing this session. I want people to understand the intricacies of practice and what it gets to where you are. For example, you mentioned the clicker just now. How fluid were you with the clicker when you first got it? And then how many times did you work on it to master that with the slides and your talk?
Yeah, so I was not at all good at the clicker. I used to not know how to hold the clicker also. I was holding it upside down sometimes. And when I was speaking my speech, I was only looking at my speech. I wasn't looking at my slides. And there was a beautiful disarray. There was a like proper disarray between my slides and my content. And then at a time I decided I'm not going to show my slides. But then one of my friends said, no, you must show. There are very few slides. Just practice, just practice. So I kept on practicing with my clicker. I remember I kept on practicing even at night when I was sleeping. I was just doing this, and I was imagining when I say this, then this slide will come. When I say this, then this slide will come. So the thing is, that when we are on the stage, we don't have to look at the slides. We have to just look, we have to know when to click the clicker. It should be so beautifully done that nobody even notices it, that you're actually clicking the clicker. So that's what I was doing in the night when I was sleeping and I was lying down in bed. I was just clicking. Okay, now I was speaking this the content to myself, clicking and then speaking, then clicking, then speaking, then clicking, and I was doing all of this practice. It was lovely. It was great fun actually.
Yeah, you see, now that the event is finished, it's so simply put by you that it was a piece of cake. But actually, it is not a piece of cake. People should not take this for granted. And that's why we're driving here. Now, you actually did more than just clicking. I want you to understand, guys out there, the point of immersion when Alka spoke earlier, I live it. So when you're doing a talk, many don't understand the significance of this. You think I'll just practice for it now and I'll park it and I'll go into all the other things, go to the market, come back, do everything else, and then I hopefully will do this. It doesn't work that way. This becomes part of your life. Is that correct, Alka?
Yes, absolutely. So just like we say our affirmations, we internalize them, we visualize them. It's the same thing with our speech. The more we say it to ourselves loudly, the more we say it to ourselves inside our mind, it becomes embedded in our brain. It becomes neuroplasticity. We all the time we talk about it. So that's how it happens, when we go on and feeling it, internalizing it, emotionalizing it. And that's where I realize that yes, now it is part of my system. And then David told me, now, no, stop working on it now. Don't have to do it again. And then I just stopped. Actually, I stopped because my
All
fear,
our
my fear,
parents used to say that.
yeah, yeah,
You remember that? When we were doing the exams, they would say, "You've done enough, forget, go
yeah.
rest it, let your
Actually,
mind settle." Now that's what we
absolutely.
got to do. You did great on that. You really did well. Now, once you've done that, come back to this visualization concept.
Yeah.
You did a lot of mirror techniques whilst you were doing this presentation. What were you looking for when you were doing a mirror talk with the presentation?
So what I was thinking was that I want to connect with the audience, no matter
Mm,
what. Whatever
mm,
is my content, my delivery should be so good that I can make an eye contact with my audience. I can engage with my audience. And when I ask questions to my audience, they should be able to answer back to me because 15 minutes is a pretty long time. It's not a short time. It's
yeah.
1 hour and half an hour becomes very long. But even 15 minutes is enough time to engage with the audience. So my main aim was that I was looking at my audience into their eyes while I was practicing, and I was asking them questions, and I was imagining their answers when they were answering those questions. And then actually it happened on stage, David. I mean, I was asking them the questions, they were answering it, and they were clapping with me when I was singing. And that was so amazing. That feeling was so amazing. Even the beginning, I put up the song, they all started dancing. So I felt they were a beautiful audience. They were a really wonderful audience, just like I imagined them to be. They were with me. They were like so awesome. I really enjoyed my time on the stage. Thank you so much for
Good.
asking.
Good.
And
Your dopamine level has just skyrocketed on that. Yeah. But you
yeah,
see, the point is, you just mentioned it. Image it in, not imagination. You image it in before the event, and that actually manifested when you're on stage.
yes. In
Correct?
the beginning, when I was practicing, I used to say to myself, "What if they don't answer?" And then I forgot that particular sentence. I said, "No, they are going to be with me. They are my audience. They're awesome. They're amazing." And that's what changed. David, when we say the negative things to ourselves, those negative things are going to manifest. And
Yeah.
it was very quickly that we are in a mental resilience mastery batch. I bounced back. I said no negative comments, nothing like this, no self sabotage. They are going to be there, and they're going to answer my questions, and they're going to engage with me. So that's what I was imagining when I was practicing. Yeah.
Fabulous. Now, the practices, for example, you've just explained, when you went through this, how did you find your practice in real situation and your delivery during the various stages when you first started? You went to
Yeah.
the second, I think the second week or the third week, when you're still a little bit uncertain. That
Yeah.
mastery, what is the feeling you felt when you were able to on stage deliver that? Yes, I
Yeah.
know you got euphoria, all of those things came through, but inside of you, how did that confidence
So
transpire?
I'll tell you one thing, David. In the beginning, when I was practicing, and I was practicing in front of my own family, my husband used to hear the beginning and he used to say, "Please go back. I don't want to listen to the rest of your speech." He is so critical, and he's my best teacher. He's a pillar of my success because he is the one who said, "I want a good beginning." And if your beginning is not good, I'm not listening to you. My children were more compassionate. They listened to my speech and they gave me a feedback. And I gave my daughter-in-law's paper and I told them, give me marks. So I got 0 on 10. I got 1 on 10 from them. And they were like feeling like, Mummy, we are making so many less marks we are giving you. But you got to improve on this. Huh? Your pauses are not there. You're speaking very fast. And many things they do. Your tonality is not there. Your emotions are not there. And at the beginning, it helped me to get this feedback. And then David told me to put a rubber band on the hand. I remember, and I was thinking of that rubber band all the time whenever I started talking fast. So now I'm thinking like, I should talk slowly. I should make a pause. I should be show my emotions. And slowly, 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 I started doing it. Even then, after 10 or 12 or 20 practices, also it never came because I used to go in my autopilot mode of talking fast. Then I have to remind myself, no, 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 you can't talk fast because there is a time that takes from the words from here to reach the audience. And
Yeah.
it was a gradual process, And one day I felt like I recorded myself on the same laptop. And then I listened to myself. And that day I felt, yeah, I'm there. Today I'm a little better than what I used to be before. So I'm prepared now, I can go. But I was only telling myself, speak slowly, speak slowly, speak slowly. So it has been a gradual journey. And it has taken me effort, a lot of effort to do that. Got to do it. There's no other way out. There's nothing else you can do except for practice, which is pure mantra.
Yeah, that's why I keep saying the point you mentioned about recording. You
Yeah,
did both types of recording. I want this to be emphasized to the audience. Um, the first recording that you did was just a visual of your image and your voice.
yeah,
Okay. Now you watch that, then you mastered your presentation, your body language, your tonalities. But then the second recording that you used to do regularly was just audio recording. Why did you do that?
yeah. Because I can only concentrate on the audio part because my modulations, my pacing, my pitch of my voice, I can only hear it. If I watch my video, I miss that sometimes. So by listening to myself again and again, and I used to keep it near my ears even while I was sleeping. So I could, understand that here I'm going wrong. This is not looking too good. This is not looking authentic. So I have to get more emotions over here. And people are always there to criticize, and I'm very grateful to the people who criticized. I'm really really grateful because that's the fault finding which made me improve. And today I want to
Right.
tell everybody that keep the criticizer near you, keep the fault finder near you. It's always, my dad used to always say, and I used to get very angry in those times, but today I realize, I've always realized, but really in this time, you got to keep the fault finder close to you because he's the one who wants you to excel. And that's what I would say, that keep on improving till you feel satisfied yourself.
Right. It's so true. The fault finder and also the selection of your fault finder is vital to make sure they give it, to make sure they have actually, what I'm saying here is
Yeah.
done the walk, and then they're giving you feedback. Not the ordinary person who knows very little about it, but then they're very good to crab people down. So be cautious on that, guys out there. But more than that, when you come and find this fault finder, another thing is we have to have the strength to accept that feedback. Many don't.
Yeah.
How did you find that when different people are giving you feedback?
Yeah, so it was my need. And I went to them and I told them, give me a brutal feedback. Don't be
Hmm.
nice to me. I don't want that niceties. I want to improve myself. For example, my daughter in law, you may say that she may not be a great speaker, but she can definitely see a great speaker. So that she's a good person and she's very, very, very sincere in giving feedback. And I always take her feedback very sincerely. And she was very busy that day and I had to submit my speech. It was already 2 o'clock, and I think 5 o'clock was the last time to submit my speech for audition. And my husband said, "No, no, no, this speech is no good. I don't want to listen to this." And I went to her, and she said, "I'm very busy, mom. I can hear it only after about 1 hour or so at 4 o'clock." I said, "Never mind, you listen to it." So she gave me a feedback at 4 o'clock. She wrote down the feedback and she gave me. I worked in that for 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, and I changed my speech and I submitted my audition at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. I think it was a little late for me, but I submitted it. But I'll tell you, even if the person is not a great speaker, even if the person has not been there, the audience knows what to expect from a speaker. Still,
Yeah.
that is also good enough. Yeah, so that's also very good because she told me absolutely what she told me was came out true on the stage. She told me, end with the song. Mama, you're reaching the crescendo with the song. So you end with the song. And she told me that you reach the crescendo there. So all those things are helpful. You got to listen to people there to help you.
Fabulous. Now, I love that when you say you got to listen to the. I will correct, not correct it. I'll add to it. You will have to listen to the right people to get the
Yes.
feedback. Now, many people out there think that they know it, and feedback they deflect it because they can't take it. Now, that's where the play between ego and you being an excellent performer comes into play. So those that want to scale up, be prepared to accept feedback. Bottom line, be prepared to accept feedback. The other thing, Alka, timeliness. How much did you have to practice to make sure you fitted in that 15 seconds, minute?
I'm glad that you brought the point of ego. It's a great time at this time before the practice to, slash your ego completely down, because when you go in front of this people on a pedestal, nobody is going to like you.
Yeah.
When we are on that stage, we have to come down to the level of the audience, and we have to have that humility to connect with them. So that was another part, that we have to practice. See, we have to show confidence, but at the same time, they should not be flaunting and they should not be bragging. If I do that, then I cannot connect with my audience. So that was another at the back of my mind when I was practicing my speech, that I have to not look overconfident. I have to be in my space and I have to be authentic. I have to be who I am. And there was one place where sometimes, I was listening to somebody's speech. That person was a little screaming, and it's not necessary to scream to make a point. It's about making a pause, a right pause, and it's about making your voice sometimes even slow to make an impact. And I have a habit of talking and walking. I was doing that a lot. And many people, they told me that. So one of my friends had come to meet me one day in the afternoon. And I said, she came to meet me after many days. So I said, come on, let's go and practice. she said, what is wrong with you? I said, no, let's go and say, you give me a good feedback. And then she came with me and she told me, you're walking and you're talking. So change that. So that was a great feedback to me. So all these things I was practicing and practicing and practicing. I don't know, David, how many times I practice. I really don't know. In a day, I was practicing 10 to 20 times. And in my mind, I was practicing all the time, 24 by 7. I don't know how many times I practiced. I stopped counting. So it was a good thing that whatever I was doing.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Otherwise, you won't be there from where from where you were to where you were doing the presentation. That's where the power of practice, 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 practice comes into play. But many people are so impatient. They think they've done 3 or 4 times and they stop. And it's not just the delivery I'm talking about. The practice of everything. Your breathing, your dance up on stage. The walking up, the timeliness in which you hit the deck on the last step to when you get to the podium. Many have not even thought about how many steps it takes. Did you think and work out the steps, the song, everything?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they were it was a very different kind of stage. I was thinking I'll enter from the left side or from the right side. We will, and there was only one mic. The other speaker has got a mic, and after his speech was over, they're still talking to him. And here I'm already ready here and no mic. And sometimes I feel whether we should carry a mic, but we have decided that whenever we have a program, we should have at least two or three mics, extra mics, so that one person is there, the other person should be strapped up with his mic. So over here, when you enter the podium, the steps was in the front. It really helped me. And I tell you, David, there was thousands of things that could have gone wrong, but everything was there to help me. And I really thank the universe. So when you have steps in the center, it's so easy. You start from the side, you come in the center, you look at your audience, and then you don't turn your back, or you turn your back for a second and then immediately go up the podium. And then I did like this. So things were helping me. And I did a practice before that. Before I went on stage, I went there and I spoke to the guys. I made friends with them. Even then, things would have gone wrong. And then, luckily, David, I was carrying my own laptop and my clicker. And one more thing I didn't carry was the connector. There was a nice friend who gave me the connector. So we should carry these three things on stage: the laptop, the slides, and that pen drive. It may work, may not work. You don't know. There's glitches happening. So when you have your laptop with your slides and the clicker and the connector, That's good. And one day before, just go and speak to the AV guys, make them understand this is what you want, how you want it, and practice once with them. Then your confidence levels is always there. That's very important to be done.
Right, right. So these finite things make or break the whole excellence, the degree of excellence is what I should say. Coming down, speech preparation. What about your decorum, your mannerisms, your clothes that you wore? Um,
It was very easy selecting them because I have friends like David who helped me to do that. When I had gone to Singapore about in October, I picked up some very nice dresses from there, and I was imagining myself already from that time that I'm on the stage. Although I wasn't selected at that time, but I was already imagining that I'm on the stage, and I picked up some clothes from Singapore. And my shoes also I picked up, so I was going to use those things only. And then we had a choice between black suit or white suit or red suit, and then we settled down for a white suit with a red scarf. So it was good. And David has an eye for details, so he was always helping me the way I should look more flamboyant, not look very flamboyant, but the white suit, I think it added a little softness. So I really enjoyed all the suggestions from everybody. Everybody wanted to help me. They wanted to
yeah,
tell.
you see, that's the point, because of the nature of how you worked through that whole segment. People were there to help you. You understand? And that's why those people were there. And when you said to them 101 times, come sit down and I want to practice, they didn't run away except for your daughter in law.
I swear you were really patient. And one of my friends, she calls me up in Delhi and she says, tomorrow morning is your speech. Why don't you go to the beauty parlor? I said, are you mad? Are you crazy? She says, no, no, no. You should go and do your hair. I said, no, no, no. I'm not going anywhere near the parlor. I'm just silently sitting in my room and I'm practicing my speech in my head. And they were having a party out there in the night. And I said, no, I'm not going anywhere. I was just quietly sitting in my room. And at around 10 o'clock, one of my friend from PSI, she calls me, what are you doing? And they want to help me. They want to reduce my stress. So I said, nothing. So she said, why don't you come to my room? And when I went to her room and there was another girl who was there, three of us, half an hour, we just chatted and we laughed and we laughed and we made fun of all the people in PSI. And it was just so beautiful, you know. She was trying to reduce my stress and she was cracking jokes and she made me feel so good. So I'm so grateful, David, for so many
Yeah.
people in my life who really helped me in this journey.
Right, right. Now, when we talk about that aspect and having that decorum to interact and make sure your calmness is there, I would like you to share your mental preparation.
Yeah.
From that whole point, how did you go through that mental agility to see when can you de-stress, when should you have it up there from the time you started your practices to that
Absolutely.
day?
Yes, it's a very valid question, David, because I'm a very super excitable person. I get excited very fast with the smallest, the dropping of a hat, and I have to control my emotions, you know. And these times in the morning rituals that we do, I've been doing it like for many years, but now I was doing it more often before my speech. I was doing it three, four, five, six times in a day and for longer duration so that I get that mental agility and a mental, I'm relaxed. And especially before the speech also. I didn't hear the speeches before my speech because I was not in the hall. I was somewhere else and I was just, making myself strong and I was relaxing my mind and I was making myself just, so that I can just go and deliver peacefully. That's what I was doing. And these practices, these rituals, what we do within ourselves, they help us to go deep dive within ourselves and talk to ourselves that Alka, you're doing good and you'll do good and you're the best and you're going to perform the best. And that's what I was telling to myself. And one more thing I was telling to myself is, Alka, you're going to have fun on the stage. And that's what I was telling myself. And I was reducing my own palpitations. There is a kind of a fear, definitely, when you're going on a big stage like this with so many speakers, brilliant speakers. But I was telling to myself, no fear, nothing. Alka, you're going to have fun and you're going to enjoy the stage. And that's what kept me going, David. Yeah,
Good, good. You see, the priming exercises, many don't realize the significance and importance of it.
absolutely.
I'm not just talking about preparation weeks before, But the priming, like what you just mentioned, you're sitting calm outside of the hall just to position yourself. um, how much of time did you spend for that before you walked in? And what did you do mentally to decode yourself and then reframe it to get to the state that you had to be when you got on stage?
So I entered the hall about half an hour before my speech started. So before that 1 hour, I was not in the hall. I was outside, and I was quietly sitting in my own place. I was not in the room. I was in the hall, outside the hall. So I just took a quiet place. Calmly, I was sitting over there quietly, and just sitting quiet. Nothing else I was doing. Maybe something must be happening inside my mind. And then I realized that now two more speakers are there before me, so I should enter. So I entered by that time. So I missed a lot of speeches because of that. I could not. I'm waiting for the recordings to come. Some of the speeches the previous day I could hear, but on that day I missed one or two. Yeah,
Right, right. You see, I would put a lot of emphasis on the priming because it makes or breaks a person's presentation.
yeah, yeah,
And watching and working with a number of top influencers, Tony Robbins, for example, he primes for such a long extended period. He's actually carries his own trampoline, singular trampoline, that he does his state change before he gets on stage. Now, many don't realize the significance of all these little things that you
yeah.
have to do for that excellence to come to the forefront. That's really good.
And,
Congratulations.
and one more thing I did was walking in the morning because people may
Mm,
think that we don't have time, we shouldn't be doing physical exercise, but that is one thing we should do because it elevates our mood and brings in more of concentration and brings in more of focus. So going for a walk was my thing I did every day, especially on the day of the speech, having a cold water bath. I was told, and I normally have a cold water bath. It was very cold in Delhi, but I still had a cold water bath, and I walked a lot. That morning, I walked a lot, and that's it. And then I was quiet. I was just calm. I wasn't getting into any conversations with anybody. I didn't want to get into any negative conversations or negativity for that matter. I just wanted to be calm and silent, So I was just silent for most of the time. Yeah.
fabulous, fabulous. That's great. Now, what's on the agenda? You've reached a milestone. I know you had journeys to come towards speaking in the platforms. You've reached a milestone. From here, where, Alka?
So I'm preparing myself to go on bigger platforms now. I know it will happen. When it will happen, I don't know. But again, that is a seeding I do for myself, and I'm dreaming about it. And I'm preparing my head. I'm preparing for a 60-minute or a 90-minute keynote. And what can I add in this particular keynote? What can I minus? And how I can change some things which I would love to change about this. While I was walking a little bit, while I was talking, I still made some mistakes. I felt, and I'm just imagining, and I'm waiting for the universe to show me some way. I'm sure the universe is there. My friend is going to show me some way. I don't have very big plans right now, but I'm sure I have aspirations, and they'll take me where I want to be. I'm not where I should be, but I'm not where I used to be. So I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. And another big project, I'm waiting for that. David, if we don't dream of another bigger project, another bigger dream, then I would just die. I would just, finish myself at this level. And I don't want to get into too much of, the glory, into the basking into the glory. I don't want to do that. I want to be grounded, and I want to go into a bigger project. Think about a bigger dream, which makes me work harder than what I have worked today. So that I want to be working, working, working. I want to improve, improve, improve. That's what I'm thinking about. And I'm sure there will be some opportunity and something will come on my way and I will go into it. Thank you
No,
for
no,
that
no,
question.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Thank
no,
you.
no, no. Not that I'm sure you will make the opportunity come because if a person rests on past laurels, as you said, it's the death of the person. But more importantly, you deteriorate, and stagnation of water, it stinks. So therefore,
Yeah.
you won't be performing. Forget the performance on stage, but more importantly, the people around you will begin to get disconnected with your association. So therefore, if you already got a milestone, I know you have a mission. What's your mission that you're going to drive?
So I want to keep improving my craft, David. This craft. So, I would say to one message that focus on one thing what you want to improve on. Don't focus on 10 things. If there
Yeah.
is one thing that I want to focus on, it's my craft of speaking. And I just want to keep on improving, practicing, improving that. And when we focus on one thing, then it becomes a reality. But if
Yeah.
we are focusing on 10 different things, then we can't focus a lot on that. So my aim today is that I want to improve my craft as much as I can. And there were some amazing speakers who used some very beautiful props in their presentation. And they used a lot of videos, and I used to be very scared that if I use a video, there was a speaker. She showed a full movie, about a 3-minute movie she showed, full of emotions. And I'm always scared of that. Okay, how can I show a movie in my speech? But if you have a 30-minute speech, you can show a 3-minute movie. It's very, very effective. And not to be scared about movie. I want to practice that. I want to practice using some other kinds of things which will make my speech more effective, which will make me engage with the audience. So people were running on this. The keynote speaker was making people come on the stage in between the presentation, and they were going down on the stage. That's amazing. So all those
Mm.
kind of things, I really want to practice all that, and I want to make it more engaging with the audience and something different, something new. Whatever I've learned, I want to do it. So that's what I'm talking about, to improve my craft. That's my aim right now.
Fabulous. Really proud of you. Really proud. And in so doing, you now have not only stepped up on the milestones of what you want to achieve. The next 5 years, for example, the number of keynote speaking engagements that you can put yourself out to. Would you be only solely looking at speaking on platforms such as PSI, or are you going to go further into summits and conferences?
Definitely, I'm going to go to the whole world. I want to travel. We have a lot of platforms, David. So
Hmm.
I'll be exploring that. As of yet, I have not started doing looking at them, but definitely I'm going to explore the other platforms in the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
I'm planting the seed primarily because when you have that, now your milestones, you can have three of this per quarter
Yeah.
or three of this per year, depending on which ones you do mix and match to get the outcomes that you want. And that's the power of working towards a continuous development of self rather than just stagnating. That's great.
Correct.
Any questions, any comments to the audience?
So, audience, I can only say one thing: keep away from what is not part of your life. Keep away from irrelevant things. Keep away from negative things. Someone said something to you, someone didn't say something to you. If you're focusing on what you're doing, just forget everything else. Just, it should go out like this. Your North Star is here. Focus on what you want to do, and rest of it can go. I mean, it doesn't matter what someone did to you, when someone did not do to you. And even with your own spouse, don't fight. Don't fight with your people. They love you and they care for you and they want the best in you. I would just say that, just focus. That's what I would say, nothing else. There's so many things happening in the world, and the most important thing I would say is to keep away from distractions. Today,
Yeah.
our phone, our screen is the biggest distractor, and we really have a digital overload. Today, we were talking about it in the afternoon. So, not to do that. Practice your craft, your speech, and write it by yourself with your own hands and say it by yourself. It becomes easier. It's easy to remember also. If you are taking it from some AI things, it's difficult to remember the words. When you write it, when you speak it, it's very, very easy. It comes out automatically. So I never used even 1 inch of AI or chat GPT for crafting my speech. It's very easy, David, to just practice your own speech. And it comes out of your heart. That's all.
It's interesting you say about the AI. As you know, we had a session before this, um, talking on LinkedIn. Today, I spent a whole day on Marriott in relation to deliveries, for example, and I had a keynote coach that came in from the US. There's about 45 of us in the group, and it's interesting when they looked at what and how the deliveries were taking place and what were the key areas that people had to work on. Unless we continuously self assess ourselves in various elements of speaking, we take a lot for granted. And one of the things that was suggested, and this is open for your, not just for yourself, but for the group out there who are listening, is to have a checklist of areas that are vital criterias, okay? And those vital criterias, you peg it against where example, this is your first speech, where your first speech is, and carry pointers for it. 4 out of 10, 6 out of 10. You self assess it. And then you start your next talk now, presenting it, preparing for it, and measuring it yourself. So when it comes to delivery, the point of delivery, your preparation time is reduced. And that's
Yes.
the power of this thing. And if we can continuously immerse ourselves in that, that's when excellence comes to the forefront.
Absolutely. And I would say that while practicing, no, David, there's a lot happening inside of you. There's
Mm,
thinking that this may go well, this may not go well. But, and at that time, there's your full environment around you, your friends, your relatives, this one, that thing. They're calling you for this function, they're calling you for that function. And I had my school reunion for 4 days just before my speech. And I went only for one day. I didn't go for the rest of the days, and they were a little upset with me. But I couldn't waste those 4 days. Later on, I was thinking I should have gone for 2 days, but it's okay. You can sacrifice. You can sacrifice a little bit here and there. There's nothing wrong with that. You can catch up with your friends a little later, no problem. But that sacrifice has to be made. Indulgence is something which pulls you away from your craft. So that
mm,
indulgence and overindulgence, I see in the youngsters, it's a lot of indulgence is going on. I have a birthday party, I have this wedding happening. So we got to pull ourselves away from that. One thing is the distractions of our phone and the social media, and the other is the distractions which are our people in our lives.
mm.
Sometimes it's very important to go with them. Like my husband used to tell me that I'm the last priority in your life. You have this, and you have speech, and you have this, and you are this. So I told him one day that be glad that you're there on the list.
Ditto. Pepsi Cola CEO. Ditto. She made the same talk. Now, the interesting thing when you
Yeah,
said, yeah,
really.
when you,
He was
yeah,
complaining. My
Loni.
husband was complaining to me. He said, "What? You don't have time for me." I said, "All my life I was waiting for you. Now you wait for me. Little bit you can wait for me. You're there in my list. Definitely you're there." But that's a joke. But that's fun making with each other, and it's like two people when you can connect with each other, you make fun of each other, you laugh with each other, and that's how you stay together. And
Yeah.
that's the power of a couple. Yeah.
Mm. No, it's powerful. Alka, I really, really thank you for. Oh, I was talking about the message that these coaches were talking about today. What happened out of this is many don't realize the significance of what we just did, and there are groups, like how we have mastermind groups. There are groups of speakers who just they're assessing one another's speech from one speech to the other to get that mastery. See, excellence does not come, it's an art. It doesn't come any other way but with constant practice and doing what we do to keep improving it. And unless we do it ourselves, nobody else is going to do it for us because there's no teacher. Unless you get a hired coach, there's no coach. And the other thing that's important is you are the master of your own captain of your own ship. So make sure that you're driving this for your excellence. And when I mean yours, I'm talking about even all the other people out there who are looking at speaking as a profession. Fabulously. I really am happy to have you on board and have a chat with you and have this on as a record for some of the others who want to see it and learn from it.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for encouraging me and always being there for me and calling me on this platform. It's a privilege. Thank you very much,
It's my
David.
pleasure. Thank you. Take care. Have a good night. Bye bye now, Alka.